Okay, so let's go and have a look at how we go about setting our attributes for a configurable product. So the configurable attribute is the actual attribute that a customer chooses the size or the color. Okay, so that is defined by this configurable attribute, what options are available. In the example that we're going to use, we are going to create an item of luggage and we are going to have color options for that item of luggage. So each color is ultimately going to be a product in its own right. Okay, so a red suitcase is a different product and SKU to a blue suitcase and a green suitcase. So they each need to have their own products. And we are going to create the attribute that is, if you like, the switch between which product the customer is going to put in their basket. So let me show you something first, which is I'm going to go through and try and create a configurable product. And I just want to show you where you'll get stuck in the first instance. Okay, so I'm going to manage products and you'll see that we have the option to add product over here. So much in the same way as if we did when we were adding a simple product. So I click add products. All right, I get the two questions again. First one about attribute set. Which attribute set is this going to be in? So I choose the attribute set. So in this case, it's luggage. I then have what is the product type? And we've got our 6 product types here, and the one that we want to use is configurable product. So I choose that and I hit continue. Okay, so it now knows we're trying to create a configurable product. The next thing it wants to know is what is the attribute that will be the configurable attribute. And what I'd expect to see here is a checkbox with the attribute name alongside it for us to check. There's nothing for us to check. And what that means is this particular attribute set hasn't got any attributes that are configurable attributes at this time. Okay, so there's nothing I can do now. I'm stuck. I've kind of hit a dead end. So something else to look at here though is that you'll see that there's this message. All right, and it says here that only attributes with a scope global, input type drop down, and used to create configurable products, yes, are available. And what that's telling us, that's giving us instructions on how to set up the actual attribute itself. And it's telling us how to answer certain questions within that. So it's telling us how to answer the scope question, how to answer the input type question, and then there'll be another option which is used to create configurables, and that'll have a yes/no answer to it. Okay, so just make a note of that and bear that in mind that you need that information for when you're then creating your attribute. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually go into manage attributes, and we're going to have a look at how we go about creating the attribute. So once again, we're using color, and you'll see if I look in the list, this is a list of all of our attributes. Okay, and you'll see in here that we have an attribute there which is called color already. Okay, so color is actually an attribute that comes with Magento as default. So we don't necessarily have to create it for this particular one. So I'm going to go through and show you how you define this attribute, and then we'll have a look at creating a size attribute later, and you can see an attribute being created from scratch. So I'm going to start off with color. I'll select the color attribute. Okay, loads up. Okay, so we have our attribute code, and you can see here we've got certain fields that we can't change anything on, like color and drop down. They've been grayed out, they've already been defined. Okay, so the name of the field is color. Then we have the scope. So remember that one of those questions was only attributes with a scope global can be used as configurable attributes. So we can see here that that has a scope global. Okay, the input type needs to be drop down. So you can see here that the input type is already dropped down for this. And if I jump right down to the bottom of this list here, we've got this option here which is used to create configurable products, and that is set to yes. Okay, so this attribute is already set up to be a configurable attribute. All right, let's have a look. Look what else is in here. You can see here as well, applied to, and it says it's only applied to simple products. Now, this will become a bit clearer when we come to actually create the attribute itself. But basically what it's saying is that when we're defining a simple product, we will define a color on that simple product when it's in this particular attribute set. So the attribute set luggage in this case. And we don't need it to be defined on any other product types. So the fact that configurable isn't set there is not relevant. Okay, we wouldn't set a color against the actual configurable product itself. It would only be the simple products beneath it. Okay, let's go to this next tab along here, the manage label options. And you can see that we've got the title here and we've got color. Now, we're in the UK, or I'm certainly in the UK. You may be watching this from elsewhere. So color, we add extra letters into our names. So I would change the label to be color, just so it's regionally specific. Okay, and then we come to manage options. What we put in here is all the potential color options that we might want. Okay, they don't necessarily, when we create a product, we don't necessarily have to have the product have all of these colors, but when we create a product, the color has to exist in this list. Okay, so when we're creating our configurables, the color has to exist in this list, but you don't have to use all of them. Right, so I'll add some colors. So we'll go for red, we'll have a green, let's have a blue, and we can even go for textures or patterns. So maybe we'll have a polka dot and perhaps a zebra stripe. Okay, so I've put 5 colors in there. This list isn't exhausted, so if I save this and then down the line I decide there's more colors that I want to make available, I can just go back in, edit this attribute and add more colors in there. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about default store view and position. You know, go back and have a look at setting up attributes if you want to know a bit more about what those do. And then I'm just going to save this attribute. Now, the reason why this particular attribute, this option was not appearing when we tried to create the configurable product is because this attribute has not yet been assigned to the luggage attribute set. So it's important that when you're creating a product, when you're creating a configurable product, that the configurable attribute is already assigned to the attribute set you're creating that product in. So if I now go into manage attribute sets, okay, I'm going to go into the luggage attribute set. Okay, so we can see over here in the unassigned attributes that the color attribute is yet to be assigned. So it's not been assigned to the luggage attribute set. So all I need to do is drag that in there. And because I've got this luggage specific section, I think I'm going to drag it into that part. So I'll just drag it through and just put it right at the top of the luggage specifics. Save the attribute. And now if I go back to manage products, I select add a product. Okay, making sure I'm choosing the luggage attribute set and a configurable product. I hit continue. This time round you can see that color has a checkbox there. Okay, so to proceed and create this particular product, I just need to tick that and hit continue. And now I'm creating a new configurable product, which I'll go through in the next video.